I definitely have not just changed the colours of the lights to make it seem like it's not me filming back to back, but someone in my religion class said when we were discussing the Moscow siege, I discussed in a video a few days ago, that the major army will always win compared to, rebels or militia. And on surface, that seems logical and true. Like, that seems like it should be fact because, yeah, it's self evident that the more organized, more powerful force will win. But when you look into it, it really isn't that true. The biggest example, Vietnam. America, yes, the Kong was an army. They weren't a conventional army as America was used to fighting at such a time. And they ended up losing. Well, according to them, not losing, just calmly walking away. No, America lost Vietnam. Desert won. That was definitely a loss where the bigger army lost to the smaller one. And then there's the more militia ones. The Gurkha army lost to rebels, literal mountain dwelling rebels in the pool. That's illogical, but it happened. Think of coups. Coups work out all the time in Latin America. Recent coups in Latin America haven't worked out too well. Cough, cough, Bolivia. But, which is a good thing, actually. That one didn't work out because now we finally got socialism in Bolivia, which, well, movement towards socialism, which is actually a good thing on their behalf, personally, in my opinion. Um, Other examples, Ireland, really, it was less of a loss with the IRA and the British Army, but to come to a settlement with the fucking British Army, notoriously the undefeatable army, yeah, to come to agreement by such a small, unorganized group as the IRA was a mental thing to happen, was disproportionate and unbelievable. But it happened. And again, with the British Army, the undefeatables, we all know of the not success, slaughter stories, basically, where the imperial armies in the 1800s murdered millions and thousands of Africans across Africa. But I think the Zulus, there was fights between the Zulus and the British Army and other African tribes where the African tribes literally won. We only really know a lot about the ones where the British people won because, winners, right, what's it, history is written by the winners, but there are stories where they won, the Africans won against the British, which, again, is this same thing. The army will never always win. The army is at a incredibly high chance of winning a lot of the time, especially in the context of hostage situations, which is where this person's point stem from, and he gave the Iranian embassy 6-day siege as an example, which, yes, the army definitely was going to win that one, but I think that was incompetence on the hostage takers' sides anyway. But, I've lost my point. But you can't sit there and say the army will always win. And such an idea like that, the army will always win, is at core general army, as in countries' armies and these bigger forces of armies. They are the ones who push this narrative. Because you only hear the winner's side, as I've already said, but you only hear what they want you to hear. And you only hear of the successes. So you are going to accept these statements. You're going to think the army always wins because the armies and their representatives aren't going to come out and tell you about their most major losses. The biggest death tolls on the Allied side in both World War One and World War Two were covered up for nearly decades after the war. It wasn't until around the 70s that we knew the full extent of how some battles had been devastating to our own side. That will be hidden from us by general armies because they can't take loss like that, because they need to appear strong to be strong even when they aren't.